Ready to get this, brother?
Let's go. Let's go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stoop Life Podcast. If you guys haven't listened yet, welcome to the club. We just want to tell you guys that we are the best sports podcast in Pennsylvania. We already said it that by the end of this year, we're going to be the best in the country. So we need your help to do that. Guys, if you listen to this podcast, if you're watching the video, if you're listening to it on audio, please share it. Please help us get the word out there because, I think we talk a pretty good talk. We ain't clowns out here. We don't just say biased bullshit. We talk that talk. We give you guys information. Now today's episode is one of them podcasts that I love, that I want you guys to listen to, because whenever we do a podcast about this subject and I put bets in about this subject, I usually So I'm super glad that we're doing a podcast about this because I haven't hit all year and we haven't done a podcast on it all year. So, guys, tonight we're talking about my favorite subject. We're going to be talking to you guys about combat sports, guys and girls beating the shit out of each other, which we love to watch. We got UFC. Yeah, we got UFC 273 coming up on Saturday, and we got to talk about it because we got two title fights. And we got another fight on this card that feels like it's more important than a title fight. So we got to talk about those three fights, and then we're going to break down the rest of the fights. But, Paul, how excited are you for these fights? I'm excited.
I'm hyped because you know what? We finally get to see what Cam got. We put him in there with a straight dog. So we're going to see what that's like. Of course, Volk, I think what makes this fight good for Volk, he's about to see a guy who's going to take a lot of punishment. So we're going to see him being tested a little bit harder. So this card is actually lit. I actually like this card better than I think the previous two, probably. So
I agree. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight card. Like
the
whole fight. Like, I mean, even the prelims, a lot of people might not know these guys, which that's why we're not going to get into them that much. But you got a lot of bangers in there. You got a lot of guys and girls that are very evenly matched that are fighting each other on the undercards. So, I mean, if you guys want to get our picks for all of the undercards, you got to follow us on Facebook in the Stoop Life. As I always said, we're going to put all of our picks in there. We're going to put them all in there. We're not going to get to them all on the podcast. We're just going to hit the main fights, but we're going to put our picks.
The picks are definitely going to be out there. Trust me.
They're going to be there. But as for fights, which fights you want to start off with? You want to start off with the co-main event or the one that we really
Let's go for a rematch here. We're going to talk about the rematch one first. The one that's the most probably most obvious of the main card. We have Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling. We remember what happened last time these two squared off. Peter Yan was beating the shit out of Aljamain Sterling. But he makes a dumb move. He does something stupid and gets disqualified and loses his title.
Listen, I mean, people have been bad. We got Aljo's the title holder. He hasn't fought since he took the title as a disqualification over Peter Yan. Jan's interim champion. He did beat the shit out of course, Sandhagen. But, I mean, my thoughts on this fight Sterling was trying to hold on to his belt as long as he possibly could because he knew tonight. Like
he was not trying to exchange. He wanted to know he wasn't even really trying to go to the ground too much. He was just trying to be there.
I'm gonna say this about it, and I hate to say it. I used to really like Aljamain Sterling.
Okay? I still fuck with him.
I used to like him. I liked how he fought. I liked his energy. He's the funk master. What I don't like is I don't mind that he took the disqualification because, hey, man, he got fucked up. It is what it is. Like, sometimes we look at corners when they're getting beat up. You got to throw the flag and it's out. I don't have a problem with that. I get it. Yeah. I mean, he got the title from it. He might not have known. He might have known. It is what it is. What would you judge him by more if he did that or if he went in and just tapped out right away? It would have looked worse for him than anyway. So I don't blame him.
He stood in there. So, I mean.
What? Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think he was looking for a way out, and I like Aljo. I still love Aljo. Even after this fight, he's a great fighter. It's just Peter Yan's just a bad matchup for him. He's a stronger guy. He's just more ferocious, not scared to throw, very technically sound. But
the thing I got though is why I don't like him anymore is not because of how he fought that fight. You're not going to win them all. You're outmatched by people. You get disqualified. You win the belt. It's what it is. I don't like how he handled it. I don't like the after fact of how he was going around prancing around like he was the best fighter in the division in the world. Like, I have no problems with taking a photo op with it because, like, the UFC makes you do that anyway. Yeah. But, dude, if you follow him on social media, he was posting all this bullshit saying how he was the number one in the champ. Yeah, dude, he was trying to be like nothing happened, like he was beating him when, like, dude, it didn't happen. You know, and that kind of pissed me off because I would have liked to have seen him not say nothing about it, get his surgery, get back to work. But no, he kept prancing around with the belt, taking photos with the belt. And I don't know about you. If I generally lost a fight and I won off of that, I'm not calling myself the champion. I'm like, yo,
I don't want to.
No, and he wasn't like that. And that kind of shows me the character that he has and what is going to happen tonight, on Saturday. I just don't. It's going to be the same exact fight as last time, except you're going to get angry Peter Yan, who's going to come attack you. Instead of waiting until the third or fourth round, I think we're going to see a Peter Yan that attacks you right from the beginning. Which, in essence, I'm not going to lie about it, though. That's exactly what Aljamain Sterling actually probably wants, because he's better when you attack at him. But
he is
like
better.
I think we could throw all the stats away from what they're good at, what they're bad at, and just say, hey, we know this it's going to happen. Peter Yan is a minus 480 favorite, and Aljamain Sterling is plus 350.
I'm not shocked. That's fine. Again, he's not. He didn't win that strap, so of course he's going to be an underdog. He didn't win that strap.
Out of one of the other fights we're going to talk about on this card, we're going to talk about the odds. Yeah. I think it's higher. Like, if you're going to give some of the other fights later in the fight the odds that they have, when we already know what's going to happen with this fight. Like, we know. Yeah, Peter is going to knock him out. Like,
I don't think he's going to knock him out quick, though. I think he's going to punish him a little bit.
We know he's going to win the fight, whether it's a 5-0, whether it's a knockout, one of those two. We know that's going to happen. So the fact that he's only minus 480, I think it's like 680, in my opinion. Speaking of the knockout decision, stuff like that, we got Peter Yan by decision is the favorite pick at plus 125. Aljamain Sterling is at plus 800 by knockout. This is the one. It's great. When the numbers are close together, you know what to pick. Peter Yan knockout is plus 165. Aljamain Sterling is at plus 1700, and then submission. Peter Yan at plus 1300, and Aljamain Sterling is at plus 850. Now, looking at those odds based off of how they are before, we already know Peter Yan's going to win. And I'm going to take a wild guess and say that usually in the fights, Peter Yan, when he puts pressure on you in the beginning, he finishes you in those middle rounds, 3 or 4.
You took it right the fuck out of my mouth just now. I'm saying about 3 or 4.
It's one thing I like about Peter Yan. He's very versatile. And we talk about it a lot when we talk about these MMA, podcasts. He's very versatile, and he uses the kicks. These fighters now that are evolving, that are using kicks, he's a bully that knows how to use kicks. He's a street fighter that will kick you. Now, that's pretty damn dangerous.
That's pretty damn dangerous.
It's pretty great. I mean, not to mention he fights out of AT&T, which was Gym of the Year 4 out of the last 5 years. He trains with people, too. Trains with good people. And anytime you get a Russian dude in the UFC that's out for revenge, it's going to be a scary night.
Might want to take the Russian dude in this bet.
I'm like, always bet the Russian. Like, it used to be a Brazilian dude. Now it's like, bet the Russians. Now, like, what do you think Aljamain Sterling has to do to win the fight?
Get him to the ground nice and quick. Do not try to box him. You need to get him down in the first 2 rounds, wear him off a little bit, because we haven't really seen Peter Yan's tank test it too much. So just get him to the ground, wear him out, get him up top, have him wanting to rush you. Then you can pick him apart. Not hard, not easy, but that has to be his game plan right now.
Yeah, I agree. I have the same thing written down here. Ground right away. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it's not that easy to get Peter Yan down to the ground. This dude has A1 takedown defense. But if you do get on the ground with Aljo, it's not something about where you want to be. He took Corey Sandhagen to the ground, and if you guys remember, he'd had submission of the year against Sandhagen, which was phenomenal. So this guy's really lethal on the ground. He's 12-3 in the UFC. He's experienced, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just think his character is not going to be there. I think anytime you go into a fight and you have the mindset like him, like he was already making jokes about how the fight was going to get pushed back because of something that happened with Peter Yan, and then it came out that it was getting pushed back twice because of him. You're just like, you're going into this fight, and the chances of you winning aren't that good. You usually aren't going to come out on top, and we'll see. But if he gets into the ground, like you said, I think we're in for a good one. So what's your final prediction for the fight? Just so we can put this down on the chart.
Third round TKO.
All right. By Aljamain Sterling.
No, Peter Yan.
So if I'm placing the bet, so I'm actually placing like my knockout bets and all like this. I said knockout by round 3, but I'm 100% confident that if you take a Peter Yan knockout 3-5, somewhere from rounds 3 to 5, I think
I agree.
Any of that, put $1. They're like plus 1,600, whatever they are. Usually, you know, you never know. You never know. I mean, you don't gotta go bet crazy on it, but if you do, then we both said round 3. So round 3. But I think this fight is going to be a lot more entertaining than people think because, listen, Aljamain Sterling isn't going to be one of them guys that just goes in there and gets his ass whooped and doesn't try to fight back. He's slippery. So that's why I think Peter Yan is going to kind of bully him, and then Al's just going to get slowed down because he hasn't fought. But
I agree.
After that, we're going to save the other fight for next. But we got to talk about the main event. Now, we got the featherweight title holder, Alexander Volkanovsky, versus Chan Sung Jung, a.k.a. the Korean Zombie. Now, I told you this off camera. One thing people don't know is Chan Sung Jung, Korean Zombie, is top 5 most entertaining fighters in the UFC.
I agree. He gets hit. The motherfucker takes every shot you throw at him. You throw the kitchen sink at him. He walks forward. He never goes backwards. He's very entertaining. But Volkanovsky though, he's not gonna sit there and throw a lot of shots at your face. He uses them leg kicks like a beautiful jab in boxing. That's where I think we're gonna see Korean Zombie actually crumble a little bit.
Volkanovsky is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, and I don't see any path of victory for Chan Sung Jung. I don't see it, but it's UFC. You never know, and he's a guy that's relentless, that keeps coming. And I think this is the first time in his career. Well, Max Holloway's different. He ain't count, but Chan Sung Jung's different than Holloway too because he throws a lot more and he's very good on the ground. So it's a little different. I think this is gonna be the first time that Volkanovsky is fighting a guy that is similar to himself. Yeah, I think that's gonna be entertaining.
I think the Korean Zombie's gonna press him though. I will say that he's gonna press. We're gonna see what pressure does to Volk because Max was pressuring, but he wasn't trying to take a lot of damage as well. Those leg kicks were definitely making him stand back, make him get away, not be on him too much, especially in the first fight. But I think the Korean Zombie, if he could take those leg kicks, which is not an easy thing, I think he could press him a little bit more, and we're gonna see if Volk can take that pressure.
Yeah. I agree. We all know they're both battle-tested warriors. But let's talk to you guys a little bit about Chan Sung Jung here. He's 17-6. 6 knockouts, 8 submissions, 3 decisions. He's never been submitted, so we can eliminate submission from the pick. But he's very versatile, like I said. He's been in the UFC since 2011. And if you guys are familiar with this division since then, there's been a lot of freaking animals in this division.
Let's break 145, it's very underrated.
Chan Sung Jung has been in the ring with everybody, but I want to make a point here. He hasn't beaten the elite guys. That's the thing about it. So his losses.
Hold on. He did beat Dustin Poirier.
Yeah,
he did beat Dustin Poirier.
That version of Dustin, what he is now. So, but you're right. But I want to break it down because he has beaten some good names. He just didn't beat them in their prime version. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So it wins 7-3 in the UFC. He beat Dan Age, which last fight was a very good win. He was an underdog in that. He won this and earned a title shot because of some injuries. Before that, he beat Frankie Edgar, he beat Moicano, and he beat Dustin Poirier. But I want to point out his 3 losses, which are very crucial here, and the odds tell the tale of that for this fight. His 3 losses are in this order. He lost his first fight. His first loss was Jose Aldo. He got knocked out. The second loss was the Yair Rodriguez. He got knocked out.
That nasty-ass elbow.
His third loss was to Ortega. He lost 5-0 unanimous decision.
Oh, yeah, Ortega.
The thing about those losses is this. He was fighting close fights in all but the Ortega fight. He was close to Aldo. He was close to Yair. They knocked him out. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that type of performance by him against Volkanovsky. So, I mean, I do want to say this as well about Korean Zombie. I'll give you this information. Out of his 10 fights, he's had performance of the night 3 of his last 5 fights. He's won fight of the night 2 of his last 7. He's got a submission of the night in the last 5, a knockout of the night in the last 5. He literally does everything. So this can be the first guy that Volkanovsky sees that can come at him with all angles. So I mean, it's a tough opponent. It's a tough matchup. It really is. You know,
he's kind of like Wonder Boy of that division in a way.
Similar. The way he tacks on. I mean, I will say he also he's been training with Henry Cejudo, so you know we've seen what happened when people train with him lately. They win. They win, man. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not gonna say he's gonna win. I'm not picking him, but the odds of this fight are. We said the last one was a little high.
Yeah.
A little low. I think this one might be a little high. Even though I like Volkanovsky, we know what happens when the guys win titles and then they get a guy when it's, you know, a replacement fighter or somebody that they think is easy. It's a tough fight. So we're talking about the odds here. We got Alexander Volkanovsky as favorite at -850. Biggest favorite on the card. Rightfully so, though. I'm not going to argue. I just think it's a little high.
He's earned our respect. He's a champ.
Yeah, I mean, he's been beat some good guys. We got Chan Sung Jung at 540. Don't throw any money on that. It's not going to happen. But this is cool. We got it. This is what I thought was. This is what I was talking about the fight, though. By decision, we got Chan Sung Jung at +240, and then we have Volkanovsky at -140. So the favorite for him to win is by decision, which
sounds about right. Honestly.
We'll see. And then we got by KO, Volkanovsky +240, Korean Zombie +900. By submission, Volkanovsky +1,000, and Korean Zombie is +1,700.
Damn.
So you're better off, like theoretically, if you're going to pick Chan Sung Jung, take him just to win because
the division. I mean, the division.
Yeah, they're all over the place, man. We'll see because I think the style that Volkanovsky does, I just don't see how people last with that style. His leg kicks are. He has the hardest. Like this is a guy that stands at 5'6", and somehow he was a heavyweight rugby player. Like,
Volk's a big motherfucker though. He's a stocky wolf.
I'm just saying, like. When you guys are watching the fight, if you ever want to look up Volkanovsky, look how big this motherfucker's legs are. His legs are massive. And that's one of the reasons why when he came up, I said, yo, he's going to beat Max Holloway. Because that's how you beat strikers. You kick them. And that's no one does it better. No one does it better. Like, I'll say this. If Justin Gaethje had the same size legs as Volkanovsky, that dude would never lose. Because he's the only other guy I compare that says he does those little the quick kicks. As good as Volkanovsky. Like, and the thing is, like, he's short, and somehow he still gets into range. Like, we always talk about the reach. Like, Chan Sung Jung has a huge reach advantage over him. So did Max Holloway, so did Ortega, but somehow Volkanovsky always just gets in there. I mean, it's impressive.
It's movement. He does have great movement. I will say that. It's the one thing I noticed about Volkanovsky. He's very underrated. His footwork. He does know how to get in there. He's not just an outside fighter or a grappler. Like he's a very skilled kickboxer. Very skilled kickboxer.
Yeah.
I think people don't understand that either.
That's why I wanted to bring up a little bit. You just said it. He actually trains at 2 different gyms, which is actually pretty awesome. Like, it explains why he might be so damn good. So he trains at one gym, City Kickboxing. He trains with Israel Adesanya.
Mm-hmm.
He trains Tiger Muay Thai with Peter Young. So he trains with Izzy and Young. You got 2 good ass fucking training partners. I mean, you're getting the best kicks, strikes, and you're getting like the attacks. Like, that's it. It's a great thing. And people don't even realize this guy is also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So you get him on the ground, he's stronger than you too. I mean, Ortega's learned that.
Yeah, he's learned that. But you listen, Ortega was having a nice run in that fight, though. He was having a nice run. Truth is, like, I don't like Volkanovsky, but I do like his style of fighting. No. I'm not saying that's. I just think he's just something about him I just don't like about him. But his style of fighting, he's complete. He's complete.
Australian. You're getting bad memories of Ben Simmons.
I love the Austin.
Nah, you're thinking of Ben Simmons every time you hear him from Australia.
Yeah, it kind of hurts me a little bit.
Listen, I looked it up the other day, and he's from North Macedonia. So he was born in.
Wait, he's Macedonian?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he's born in North Macedonia. He grew up in Australia and New Zealand and shit. And I was like, as soon as I saw I never forget this team because I had a soccer parlay in like last year, and it was like a 12-thing parlay for like $5 to win like 1,200. I was like 9-0 and I lost. And I'm like, North Macedonia beat Barcelona, and I'm like, who the hell is North Macedonia? And now I know who they are because they beat Italy in the World Cup. But he's from there.
Macedonia. Holy shit! I didn't know that.
I couldn't pick it out on a map though, but that's where he's from.
I know somebody who's with a Macedonian chick, so that's how I know about the culture a little bit. But man, I didn't know he was from Macedonia. That's kind of cool, man.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask you about this: if Volkanovski wins this fight, what do you think he does next?
If he's not fighting Max, if he's not gonna fight Max, move up.
Yeah,
move up. Take on a champ up there. You have no choice. Take on that champ up there.
If you were him, would you move up in weight class and fight Oliveira if Oliveira beats Gaethje? Or would you fight Max Holloway for the 3rd time when you're 2-0 again?
See, I'm all about like stamping that I won. People don't think he beat Max Holloway.
I love Volkanovski, and I think it's 1-1.
I think in his head, he feels that way too. So I'm taking on Max. I'm running my bag, and I'm getting Max. I'm saying, all right, I want to fuck you up, then I'm gonna move up. That's me. I want to know. I want people's last memory, me being in the cage with you, that I whooped your ass. And I think if I'm him, that's what I do. I'm not gonna move up and hear, oh well, Max is probably gonna follow him. Tell you the truth, if Volk moves up, Max is moving up. I can tell you that.
Well, yeah. So I was thinking about. I've seen a lot of things on the internet talking about how if Volkanovski wins this fight, he might move up. We were talking about it. Be a banger of a fight. If Oliveira beats Gaethje, which is no walk in the park, be a hell of a fight. They're 2 of the best guys that are very lethal at everything.
Yes,
I wouldn't blame him one bit for moving up and getting that 2nd title fight.
Yeah,
more money most likely, and if he wins, double champ, whatever. But I do want to say this about it. I think it's a lot more risky for him to move up because even though Oliveira is a smaller lightweight, or
I don't think so though. I would say he's a smaller lightweight.
No,
I think that's why he's good now because he's able to pack that muscle on. I think he's perfect for that weight class.
We've seen what happens with these featherweights that are 5'6", 5'5", 5'7", that move up to that division. Even though it's only 10 pounds, like they don't really fare that well. I mean, we'll see. Listen, Volkanovski is a beast either way, but I feel like you just said, he's that type of mentality where it's like he wants to put that stamp on and end Max Holloway because people aren't officially saying like, yo, Volkanovski is the best ever in that division. Yeah. If he puts stamp on Holloway and beats Holloway, I think it's pretty close to say that.
I think you just said a very good thing. People don't consider Volk the best at 145 of all time. They consider Max Holloway the greatest fighter at 145. No disrespect to Jose Aldo.
I think it's Jose Aldo.
You know what? I like Max's run better. And I know a lot of people feel the same way.
I was speaking about this. I would say it was Aldo, in my opinion. But the fact that Jose Aldo went to another division and is winning, it kind of – because I kind of say, oh, well, he was out of his prime. He didn't win. Yeah. But he's, 3-1 since?
That's so true. Since he's dropped down, he has been winning.
Like the fact that Aldo keeps winning, it kind of makes Max Holloway's rise of when he beat him go up.
Yeah, I agree. But this is why I say this is a legacy fight for Volk. I think if I beat the best, the greatest 145er of all time, y'all can't say shit to me. This is my division. I can only drop down.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Theoretically, put it this way: let's say he gets an early knockout, which it could happen, first round knockout, maybe. Quick turnaround.
Absolutely. I'm sure Max is going to be there.
So what happened with the fight was, remember, it was originally supposed to be Max Holloway.
Yeah, he got hurt.
It was a couple months ago. Max Holloway got hurt, an undisclosed injury. I have no idea what it was. I don't know what it was. I didn't look it up. They didn't bring it out. And then they scheduled the Korean Zombie fight. And then Max Holloway was cleared like 2 weeks later. So it was like, damn. They could have just waited, but they booked it. So Max Holloway's ready to go.
He's ready.
He could, if something happens to the Korean Zombie, Max Holloway's coming in.
He'll jump right in.
I actually
3 days later, he'll jump in.
I actually would love, like, let's just say Korean Zombie doesn't make weight, which he's never missed weight or something. Max Holloway's the replacement. Oh, dude, that would make this fight card that much better.
Oh, it would make it. It would throw it over the rocks. This is number 3. Yeah. But if he beats him again, beats Max again, they're gonna say, well, he took it on 3 days' notice. Beat him on a full camera.
I don't think Volkanovsky would take it that way, though. I think he would welcome it. I think he would be like, let's go. Like, I fought you twice. I'm prepping. Yeah.
Max would too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm just saying, let's say, you never know. We've seen crazier things happen. We've seen that Khabib fight. He took on 3 different opponents in 24 hours. So, I mean, you never know. I don't see it happening, but I'm just throwing it out there. That's just how much I want to see that third fight.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement there that we want to see a third Max fight.
So, yeah, coming to the end of it, what is your prediction for this fight?
I think it's a U-Day. I don't think Volk stops him. I don't think Korean Zombie gets stopped. So I'm gonna go with the UD on this one because this is an opponent he's not too familiar with. It's a style where he's kind of like, damn, question.
I'm not gonna argue with your pick. It's decent because the odds -140 for decision. Yeah. But 2 of his 3 losses in the UFC were by knockout. This is what I forgot to say. Volkanovsky has 3 UFC knockouts. All of them were in the second round. All 3 of them were second-round knockouts. Of his career, he has 11 knockouts, and 8 of them are in the second round. So I'm going all in. I'm taking Volkanovsky with the second-round knockout. I'm going with the fucking odds. So
that's not horrible.
Honestly, like I'm putting that in there, but we have to pick a decision in one of these, you know. So I could see a decision in this fight. I'm going with the second round knockout, but that's just my pick. Round 2 knockout, Volkanovsky. Unanimous decision, Volkanovsky. We'll see. Because, like you said, now we're talking about the fight that I want to talk about. I don't give a shit about any of these other fights because as soon as this fight happens, I'm either watch the rest of the fight or I'm going to go the hell home and cry. No, I'm just kidding. I'm excited for this fight. We got Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. Now, let's talk a little bit about Khamzat first. Obviously, he's the guy that everybody wants to see, rightfully so. My man is 10-0, 6 knockouts, 4 submissions. But in the UFC, he's 4-0 with 2 knockouts and 2 submissions. The crazy thing is about this guy, I don't give a shit who he has fought. He outstrikes his opponents 112-1, which was the first point ever thrown in a fight of his UFC career. Landed on him. Nobody's landed it since. Unfucking like how? Like how does that physically happen? Like I don't care who you fight. They don't land a fight. They don't land a punch. You got them in such dominant positions on the ground that they can't even attempt to throw.
Yeah, that's how it can happen right there. Ground control, but I get what you're saying. He's a highly talented guy, man. I actually like him. But I just think Gilbert Burns is a different beast. He's not gonna land more than one punch. You know what I mean? And Gilbert Burns is a strong fighter. He's improved a lot in the striking department. Great wrestler, of course. So this is a tougher fight for Cam.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a test.
I'm looking up predictions, right? I'm going on Google right here, trying to see some predictions. A little breakdown, see if I miss anything from what we have. Get some research in. Every single one that I looked at had Gilbert Burns winning. Believe it or not. Every single one. Every one. And I'm going to tell you guys why they have him winning. This is why. We've been talking about the whole podcast about odds and how some are like, This is the most disrespectful line I've ever seen in my life.
It is. It is so disrespectful.
Oh, I love Khamzat. I love his energy. I just love the fact that he told Dana White, I'll smash anybody. Give me Brock Lesnar.
And I fuck with him. I fuck with him.
But at the same time, listen, guys, he hasn't fought nobody, which there is a big difference in the UFC when you go from fighting John Phillips, Rhys McGee, Mercer, and Li Ji Liang to Gilbert Burns. And when I talk about these odds, Paul, listen to this shit. Gilbert Burns, coming off of his last fight, he beat Wonderboy, dominated, which he was the underdog in that fight. And
which I took on Wonderboy in that one. So.
He was plus 210 in that fight. I remember it because I had it written down. He's 7-1 since 2018. His only loss is to his former training partner, the champion, who is arguably the best welterweight fighter ever, the pound-for-pound number one, Kamaru Usman. That's his only loss since 2018. Coming to a guy who was 4-0 in the UFC and fought nobody, Chimaev is minus 550. Gilbert Burns is plus 390. Like, I saw that line and I said, you got to sprinkle some money on Gilbert. Like,
you got to.
This guy is plus 390. He's 20-4 in his career. He's 7-1 since 2018. He's 13-4 in the UFC, and he only has one loss in his career at welterweight. And he's plus 390.
And look at the dogs he has beaten. Right? Look at the dogs. Right? Damian Maia. He knocked Damian Maia the fuck out. I seen Damian Maia go limp when he fought.
Knock Damian Maia out.
You don't. He was not, and even before that, he was manhandling Damian Maia. Damian Maia is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert. Like nobody does that to him. Went in there and tore Tyron Woodley's ass.
That fight against Tyron Woodley was phenomenal.
He was. I shocked me. I was there the whole time looking like.
Took his soul. He took his soul, threw that shit away, and said, "Go fight the Paul brothers, bitch." Like, fucking.
Tyron Woodley didn't want to throw a punch.
He didn't. He couldn't.
He did not want to throw a punch. He went in there, fought Usman, which he did shake him. During that fight, he did catch him with a good shot.
He almost knocked out Usman, and then Usman recovered.
Almost. Only counts in horseshoes and grenades. Then he went in there and had a flawless victory against Stephen Thompson. That's not no easy rack of 4 fights right there. By no means. He took on a former champion, the champ, and a former champion contender, and a legend in Damian Maia. I mean, he did beat Gunnar Nelson. Cool. All right. He's a good name to have on your record.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's been in there with the best.
I'll say it's about Gilbert Burns. He's no slouch. Like, for everybody out there that's real hype on Khamzat, like, they love him. I love him too. Go do your research on Gilbert Burns before you throw all your money on this crazy line. Gilbert Burns has 6 knockouts, 8 submissions, and 6 decision wins. He's very versatile. And like you said, when he did. It's a great fight for Gilbert Burns because of two reasons. One, Gilbert Burns wants you to come at him.
Yes.
He wants you to throw.
Has a beautiful straight. He has a beautiful counter straight. Gorgeous.
Yeah. I will say this though. We can talk all this that we want about Khamzat. That's good. We're gonna find out what is real and what isn't real. We're gonna find out, is he really a legit contender, or is he just some guy that was just on the hype train during COVID that just ran through people? Because we've seen a couple of those. Not at his level, but we've seen a couple of those. This is a guy at Khamzat where so far right now in his career, what we've watched, you can't say he has a flaw. Like watching what he does, he's looked phenomenal. He's looked great. But I will say this: one thing in this fight that's going to be a factor, if he misses Gilbert Burns and Gilbert Burns lands a takedown on him, how is he going to react when Gilbert Burns is on top of him? Because Gilbert Burns showed exactly what he does on top of people in his last fight against Wonderboy. You don't get out. You don't get out. He has a lot of submission skills, and he's very good on top. And I like this fight a lot because you got two guys that want to come into this fight that want to play bully ball. So
I agree. I was going to say that too. I was like, these are two bullies facing off. These are two bullies throwing hands. This is going to be a really good fight. This is my prove me fight to Cam. Now, if Cam goes in there and fucks him up, there's no excuse why he's not in there for a championship fight after that. You throw him right to Usman after that. There's no reason for him to see Colby Covington, and there's no reason to see anybody at 170. He goes right to Usman because it's something new.
Yeah.
He loses, we probably will see him in there with a Colby Covington or Wonder. So
we're talking about that. I think there's a lot of pressure on Khamzat for the fight. A lot of pressure.
He has everything to win.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going in there and fighting slouch, but he called for this fight. He asked for this fight. He got the fight. So if he loses this fight, where obviously he thinks it's the perfect opponent for him, the reason I think he chose this fight is not because I think he thinks it's going to be easy. I think it's a fight that he can prove that he can do the same exact stuff on the weaker guys that he does against one of the most versatile fighters in this division. And if he does that, Usman might have to move. He might want to move up. I'm like, I'm gonna move up. I'm out of here.
Hold on.
I'm just saying, if he does, I'd be like, yo, because this dude's nuts. Like, this dude's crazy. Listen,
I know.
This guy's from Chechnya. He was born with bombs blown up over his head. Like, he probably threw grenades when he was
You should have gashed him his lip.
No, he don't have a lip.
He doesn't have a lip.
Yo, go listen to the story about how he lost it too. It's crazy but hilarious. Like, you gotta watch. I can't explain.
That's another reason I like though. I like Kaz. He does have a lot of personality. If his English ever becomes perfect, he's flawless on the microphone.
No, he got to say how he is. I want everybody. Kill them all. I smashed them all. That's what makes me like him more, because it's like, you don't know what he's saying half the time, but it's saying something's gonna beat somebody up. But I'll tell you this: he's very respectable too. I don't know if you saw the video. Did you see the video of him and Burns in the hallway? I love both these guys. It's just I like Chimaev. I want him to win, but I like Burns. I'm a fan of Burns. If you ever seen Burns' interviews, down to earth guy, you can tell he puts a lot of effort in, and he also he's a family guy.
That's why I love it. He's a dad.
You guys gotta go check this video out. It was from earlier today. It was Khamzat and Gilbert Burns. They're staying in the same hotel. Now, usually when you get a fight like this, they keep them away from each other. But apparently they were in the same hotel, and Chimaev was walking down the hallway, just I guess he was coming from a sauna or whatever. I don't know what they're coming from. And Gilbert Burns and his team was coming to use the hotel. And he's like, oh man, you take towel off, we fight naked, fuck it. And then Gilbert Burns says something, they just start cracking up, they start giving each other high fives, and he's like, you look a little small, you need to eat banana. You get strength. He's like, you show me strength with right hook. He's like, I'll show you Saturday night. He's like, I hope you do, I need it. And they just handshake, walk I was like, yo, like, and then when they get in the ring, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna kill this dude. That's the type of shit I like in UFC because like they're
I'm watching it right now. I'm literally watching this shit right now. First of all, the size difference between the two is hilarious. But bro, I'm watching this shit right now.
Gilbert Burns is shorter. Like
Khamzat, remember, he was a 155 fighter at one point.
But he's shorter and stockier. So the thing about Khamzat right now is he has a lot of strength, he has a lot of size, and he has reach. But Gilbert Burns in his previous fights has shown that he can handle that and he can cut that down. He does that by getting inside, by stopping the takedowns and taking you down. We got to see if you could do that to Khamzat right now. A lot of people are like, oh, well, can he prove his wrestling? He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt in judo. On top of that, he's a 6-time gold medalist in elite wrestling freestyling in Sweden. I don't know how much you want to put that into account, but anytime you win 6 straight gold medals and you're undefeated in that, this guy's never lost a fight. I told you, this bad motherfucker grew up. He was 6 months old. He's 1-0. I'm just telling you, like, he's just different, man, and I think he's going to prove it. I think Vegas thinks that way too, but like the odds, it just still doesn't. I don't get, like, it's very disrespectful there, but conditioning and pace is another big thing for him, which we got to see. He's never had to use it, and Gilbert Burns is a guy that's going to make you use it. So we'll see if he can use that.
Like I like how you bring up the Wonder Boy fight. He got inside, and if you remember the podcast we did, I was saying that's my biggest concern about this fight for him is getting inside on Wonder Boy because he's going to keep you away.
Yeah,
and he did very well. Let's just say that, and he controlled the whole fight, being inside, making him miss, taking him down, mauling him.
You did call that. I was watching that fight too, and I watched a couple of the Gilbert Burns fights. Now I want to say 2 things. First thing is this: he's one of the only fighters in the UFC that I think fights better off his front foot, which usually you don't see, and they always say stay back. That's one thing that I think might benefit him here because, like I said, they're bullies. They're both bullies. Where Khamzat's going to be a guy who's going to, if you watch his fight so far, he didn't throw the first punch in any of his fights except the one fight. He likes you to throw. So if you kind of give that, if Burns can come in, give that fake, and then let Khamzat kind of do what he does and counter it like he did against Wonder Boy, he could submit him in the first round. You know, he could get him down. He's skillful on the ground. Burns. I'm talking about Burns could submit him. It could work both ways. So
yeah, it could. Because Cam could turn around and just flip him. Like, he could turn around and just maul him to fucking death and then that's it, done.
That's what makes this fight so much interesting because we don't know. We don't know what Khamzat's going to do. Is he going to be like one of them guys? Is he going to be like the Sixers where they dominate the shitty teams and then they get the big teams they don't show up? But I want to say this though because I kind of compare Dan Hooker. Remember Dan Hooker when Dan Hooker made his rise? It's kind of what he did. Longer fighter in the division. Uses striking, this and that, and then when he fought the good guys, disappeared. You know, but he did knock out Gilbert Burns. So I mean, it's different fighter though. That was
that was at 155 pounds though.
It was in 2018 also, or 2017. Sorry, it was a while ago. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if Khamzat comes out here and pulls a Dan Hooker and disappears against the good guys. But at the same time, we've seen fighters that are like this, and then when they fight that guy that pressures them, they don't know what to do. So we'll see. I mean, what's your pick for this fight?
I got Gilbert Burns. I got him on a U-Day. I don't think he's gonna stop him because Kazman is a tough motherfucker. It's like he doesn't bend. He breaks, but he doesn't bend. I'm sorry.
We don't know yet.
We don't know what you're getting from. But I gotta go with Burns.
Yeah, the crazy thing is we don't know if Does Cam? I'm willing to bet he does, but does he have a jaw? Can he take a punch? Can he take leg kicks? Yeah, that's just something you don't.
Been in a long time, bro.
We could be like, yo, he probably has the best jaw. We don't know. He might have a fucking weak jaw, and that's why he goes hard as shit. Like, you never know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going Chimaev, round 3 submission.
I can see it happening. I can see that happening, bro.
I think it's going to be a 1-1 fight going into the third, and I think it's either going to be a Chimaev submission or is going to win by split decision. I don't think he can beat him by decision. I think Burns has given the right to he's shown that when you go to decision, he usually wins, because the thing about him, what he does at the end of fights, he knows how to get those points on at the end of the fight. And I think that's very crucial. He's a veteran. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I'm very pissed off that this is a 3-round fight. I'm excited that it's on this, but I wish it would have been a main event of something like a 5-rounder. But
I think the 3-round works more towards Burns because he can be aggressive and knowing like, all right, I gotta fuck him up for a little bit. I gotta win these rounds just the way I was doing the Wonder Boy. I think Cam's gonna be like, okay, I can't be waiting. I might have to throw the first punch. I might have to take that chance and go in there and try to take a few shots. So I think it's gonna work more in the Burns' favor. I think it's gonna be a whole card. Yeah, like I said, if he beats him, I'll see you in June. Listen, I'll see you in June.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, gonna be a good fight. Other than that, we got a couple other good fights on here. Let's run through them real quick. We got a woman fight. We got Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres. We got Dern at -128, and Torres is plus 104. Now, I'm not hyped for this fight. I don't like watching Mackenzie Dern fight. She is she's the Damian Maya of the women.
Takes you down. Uses that jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Tisha Torres on a 3-fight winning streak, which came from a 4. She's on a 3-fight winning streak, but she lost 4 fights previous to that. This is a do-or-die win for her. Yeah. If she doesn't win this fight, she's probably going to be, might as well just retire. You're going to have to work back up. Good luck. That division, you got Martina Rodriguez, Amanda Ribas. You got a lot of killers in that division that are coming up. So I'll say this: Mackenzie Dern is 11-2 in her career, 7 submissions. 7 submissions. I'm predicting in this fight she's going to get another submission. I don't know, a round, maybe 2, 3. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm switching it. I'm going to take her by decision. I can't take all fucking finishes.
And I've been taking all UDs, so I'm going to rock with Mackenzie on this one, and it's going to be a UD. I think she's going to ride her out. They both got pill hands. So, but the thing is, Torres just throw a shitload of punches. They're just not hard. Yeah, that's why they call it a small tornado.
I mean, if I'm willing to bet this, whatever your bet is, just take the fight to end in decision.
Yeah.
I think that's because Tisha Torres is 13-5, 11 decisions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most likely if she wins, it's going to be a decision.
She has 1 knockout on her record.
Yeah. Now we got another fight here. We got Jarzino Rosenstruck versus Marcin Tybora. Now, Rosenstruck is a guy who has proved to do exactly what I just said about maybe Khamzat. He kills everybody, and then he fights the good names, and he gets fucked up. His 3 losses. Listen to these. I'm not blaming him. Curtis Blades, Cyril Gain, Francis Ngannou. I mean, hey,
3 top tier guys.
Yeah, he lost 3 other fights.
He did knock out some old heads though, and he knocked out one of my old heads in the overing. So
he's 12-3 in his career. Every single one of his UFC wins has been by knockout. 3 of his 5 knockouts have been in round 1. Sorry, 3 of his 5 knockouts, 3 of his losses, they were all knockouts. He has 8 knockouts in round 1.
Damn.
And 3 of his 5 UFC knockouts were in round 1. So this is the guy that comes out and he throws fucking hands with you. He can't do anything else. Now we got another guy out here. I don't know if you know much about Marcin Tybora, but he's another Polish power. My man's from Poland, but he's not your typical Polish guy. He can knock you out, but he's Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. And he can take a punch. He fought Volkov. I don't know if you remember that fight.
Well, he beat Greg Hardy. He's the one that stopped Greg Hardy at first. I remember this guy.
Greg Hardy out, which, he's 22
on Harris too. Oh, he has a nice little resume.
He's a versatile guy. He got 9 knockouts, 6 submissions, 7 decision wins. He's been knocked out.
Arlovsky. He beat some dogs.
He's some good guys. I mean, he got hands too.
I can see that. I'm watching a couple of highlights of him right now. I remember him now. He beat the shit out of Greg Hardy.
Yeah. So I mean, my pick's real simple with this fight. I think Rosenstruck goes out there. He throws hands in round 1, but not this time. He's gonna get knocked out in round 1. I'm going with the underdog. We got Rosenstruck is -158. Tybora is +128. I'm taking the dog in this fight. I got Tybora by first round knockout.
Is Tybora ranked like in the top 15?
He's probably in the top 15. I'm not sure.
And this is his fight. This is his fight to crack the top 15. So I'm gonna go with Tybora on this one.
Yeah, I think
this is what happens.
I think it's the last fight on Rosenstruck's contract. So I think he's gonna lose. He's gonna go to Bellator.
He's number 10 on the. He's in the top 10, but I think this is the fight he's gonna need to take on a top 5 guy. We might see him in there with Game.
Yeah, I think it's a bad fight for Rosenstruck, just because like I said, like the 3 guys that he lost to, 2 of them aren't going anywhere. You still got Steve Bay, so it's kind of like, I mean, get out of your contract, just get the fuck out. That's what I would do. I mean, I don't blame him, but we'll see. We'll see. Another fight I want to talk about, and then we'll leave the rest for our page. We got an up and comer. We got another guy coming up from Dublin, Ireland. We got a welterweight division. He's 8-0. Ian Gary. I don't know if you guys have seen this guy. This guy got lightning hands. This dude is, when you talk about strikers and accuracy, he's right up there with.
He's the main event on the undercard, on the premium.
He's a pinpoint striker. He's 8-0, 6 knockouts, but he's only 1-0. Yeah. He's 6'3", so he's tall for the division. He's good though. But the question is here. So we're questioning Khamzat. A lot of people can he do this? Can he do that? Yeah. It's going to be a big thing we see here with this guy. So he's fighting a guy, Darian Weeks. He's 5-1, and he does stuff that Ian Gary's not good at. That we don't know if he's good at. He's a good striker with kicks, and he's a good grappler and takedown guy. Those are 2 question marks under Ian Gary. So this is another proven fight for Ian Gary. Can he get in there with a guy that does stuff that he's not used to and finish the fight? Ian Gary's at -385. Darian Weeks is +290 by knockout, +125 for Ian Gary. And I think that's how it is. You never seen Ian Gary fight?
I don't think I have. They're calling him the nicer Conor McGregor. They're calling him the nicer Conor.
Listen, I'm going to say this. They're calling him that because he's from Dublin, but he's nothing like Conor. He ain't.
I'm seeing that.
He's more of a pinpoint striker. He's good. He
beautiful kicks. Hell, he does a beautiful setup for the kick too.
He's good, but like I said, nobody knows how he is against takedown defense.
So, God.
Yeah, he hasn't fought anybody yet. It's only his 2nd fight in the UFC, but he's favored at 385. I'm rolling with him. He's one of the guys that we talked about before when we said who are some of the up-and-coming prospects. He was on my list.
I remember him.
Yeah, he's finally there. He's not a talker, though. He's not like Conor McGregor who's going to get on the microphone and start talking all this shit. But we'll see. Maybe he will after he does this fight. I hope not. But
no, he's too nice. He's too nice of a guy, they said.
Yeah, he's real nice. His last fight a couple months ago. He won. Fucking right hook knockout. It's beautiful. I think he does the same thing here. We'll see. That was the only other fight I really wanted to talk about. There's a couple other fights on here with people you know. Like I said, there's a lot of good matchups that are very, well matched, that the odds say it. So I'm not going to pick them on here. But is there anything else that you're looking forward to this fight card that we didn't talk about?
Nah. We got everything across that I wanted to speak about. I'm just worrying about the next after this now. Like, there's a lot of what ifs after these cards. What if Alexander Volkanovsky loses? Does he go back? Does he go up then? What if Aljamain Sterling actually wins? Shit like that. Like, Gilbert Burns is a title shot after this. Like, Khamzat title shot. This is a lot of I gotta see what's going on after the card type shit that's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities that could happen, even with the Dern fight. Like you just said about Tybora fight, if he wins, Rosenstruck wins, either one, it's a big fight. You got a lot of good matchups that are going to be made out of this fight. So we'll look forward to seeing it. I can't wait for the final 3 fights, though. I'll be
hyped for that.
I will say this. Our predictions are going to be pretty accurate because how do UFC cards traditionally go? First fight on the fight card, banger, knockout. Second fight, it's going to be the Dern fight, always kind of slow.
Yeah.
Decision. And then you got 3 bangers that could go any way, any stoppage, could be a decision. So it's going to be, I think we're pretty accurate with that. So I'm looking forward to a good fight card. If something crazy happens, we'll hop back on here and do another breakdown of it, or review. And I'm going to do a personal one. I'm going to talk about Khamzat, regardless if he wins or loses. I'm going to talk about it. Well, if he wins, I will. If he loses, then we'll just flush it to the wayside. But we'll see what happens. And guys, girls, thanks for listening. And like I said before, share it. Get your friends to listen. We got guests coming on the podcast. We got debates coming on the podcast. Don't be afraid to hop in and do one of them. Other than that, Paulie, floor is yours.
Thank you for listening. You're part of Stoop Life. You already know how real we are. You already know we get down with these debates. We got fantasy sports. We got the odds. We are the real shit of this Pennsylvania sports talk. We're taking over. If you're not part of Stoop Life, you're a fucking loser. And I said it now.
You ain't right. You're right. But all right, y'all.
You know what I mean?
Hey, peace out.
Good night. See ya.